Hi, this is your Mun speaking, and I am making my Mun video because I recently hit a really big milestone. I hit 900 followers. Only like a month, like not even a month after I hit 800 followers and I made my follow forever, I hit 900, which is huge because one of my other blogs, and for those of you who know me, I have a lot of blogs. So one of my other blogs has ever hit 900. And it's the biggest number I've ever had. And I'm super excited, and I really want to thank everybody for following me, for role-playing with me. You guys are amazing. Some of you have been following Demeter for, it's going to be coming on 4 years. I think it might be 3 years, but 3 or 4 years. Some of you may or may not know that Demeter is my oldest surviving muse. She's the only blog I've kept up since its conception. So it's a super big deal for me that you guys are still following me. To those of you who are just following, welcome. I promise it won't be this way all the time. I was just super excited and I really wanted to do this. So if you want to skip this whole video, that's the point that you need to go away with, is that I'm super excited and I'm really, really grateful. Thank you all so much. I love you all. Thank you. So, if you want to stay for the rest of the video, I have a couple of questions from anonymouses and some other role-playing blogs that were kind enough to send in some requests, and I'm going to answer them. So I have my phone and I'm looking at the questions. This might take a while, so fair warning. The first question I got is, I'm going to go through all the anon questions first and then go through the others. So 5 similarities and 5 differences between you and Demeter. 5 similarities are that we're nurturing. One thing that I've noticed recently, actually, is that we were both really late bloomers in terms of being able to ask for what we want. That's a recent character development that I've kind of realized that it's a part of my life and my journey also. So that's 2. We both have brown hair. We both really like warmer weather over cold weather. I hate the winter, and Demeter hates the winter, and I mean, I live in New York, and the winter sucks here. Like, I don't care what you say, it's the worst. Like today I almost fell on the ice because I have a glacier in my driveway. It's not as bad as New England, but we've gotten some snow over the years. And one more similarity. We both like flowers. Like, I can't, that's actually one of the differences between me and Demeter. I can't garden. Like, I have no talent when it comes to, like, planting anything. Like, I kill cacti. That doesn't mean I don't try, so that's the similarity, is that I really enjoy it. I just can't do it. So another difference, her happiness about, like, pregnancy and stuff. I have no interest whatsoever in being pregnant at all, as of right now. I like babies, and I want to be a mom, but I don't want to go through pregnancy because that's not for me. Another difference. I think that Demeter really tries to be more mature for everybody than I do. She's not very silly, and it takes a long... She really has to be around somebody that she trusts to be silly. I don't care. Her language is also much more eloquent than I'm used to. She speaks how I interpret her speech patterns is, especially in her the verses where she is a goddess and she's not pretending to be someone else. She tends to speak very eloquently. And obviously I don't. I don't make an attempt unless I'm, you know, in character. And one more difference. She's a lot less sexual than I am. I will admit that, and I have no shame about that. I want to be a sex educator, and I'm getting my master's degree in social work, and part of that is wanting to be a sex educator, and communicating is a big part of that, so I'm better at that. Characters you're dying to play with. I'm dying to play with some more Olympians. I play a lot with Hades and Persephone, which is fine. I really like Hades and Demeter's dynamic. I really like Persephone because, you know, it's Demeter's daughter. There aren't any blogs, as far as I'm aware, for Demeter's other children. She has several. The accounts vary because of the myth and interpretations, but I haven't seen any of. I've seen one for Arion, her son with Poseidon, who is a horse, and that was interesting because the way he was played was very antagonistic, and they had a really tense relationship, and it was kind of cool just to have that little interaction. But as far as I'm aware, there's no blogs for Demeter's other children. There aren't a lot of blogs for Hestia. There aren't a lot of blogs for Poseidon. I mean, other than in the years that I've been role-playing in the Greek myth, role-playing fandom, there's been a lot of Hades, a lot of Persephone, a couple of Zeuses, and a couple of Heras. There aren't a lot of the other Olympians, the other 6. There aren't a lot of Titans. There are a lot of Aphrodites and a lot of Eroses, which is understandable. So Olympians and other supernatural characters that aren't technically not supernatural the show, but like supernatural like vampires and werewolves and all that. Those are cool. So what have been your biggest influences in playing Demeter? Her FC, Lena Headey, has been a big influence on me because she is a mother herself, and she plays someone who I think is she's not a great mother, but she's very maternal and she's very protective, and she is very ruthless, which I think Demeter can be. So that kind of has influenced my characterization of her. 5 are peers you would admire. Carol Davner's, that's her personal blog, because she has so many RP blogs, excuse me. She's the one who first got me into role-playing. Sweet Transvestite Frankie, Wine, Women, and Wit, Master of Mirrors, Divine Love and Beauty. They've been following me for like ever, which is amazing. That's 4, right? I mean, there are so many that I admire. If you look at my follow forever, you'll see a lot more of them. So I'm not going to finish listing. Some other questions. What are your favorite things about role-playing Demeter now? One of my favorite things, and this has been since I started role-playing her, is how versatile the character is. Because she's a goddess and she's like a fandomless character, she's very easily inserted into every fandom. Like, even if I don't know about it that much, she can still be some random character in that other character's environment. Like, I've had role plays within Doctor Who, I've had role plays within, you know, True Blood, Supernatural, like, I mean, like, things that I'm not necessarily a part of, you know, minimal information about it, but still able to, you know, figure out something for Demeter to be interacting with those characters. Your least favorite. My my phone went dark. My least favorite thing about playing with Demeter, maybe her language. I mean, her language is really, I have to remind myself sometimes when I'm in character, to stay in that language pattern. Like, it has developed to a point where it's a little, you know, she's a little bit more lax about it. But when I first started out, that was really hard for me. Just the eloquence of it. And I've always had an issue with that. I'm not very good at purple prose and she speaks in purple prose. So, why did you pick Lena Headey as your FC? I picked her because at the time I was really, really into Game of Thrones, and I'm still into Game of Thrones. I love Game of Thrones. It's one of my favorite shows. And I need to read the books really bad. But she plays Cersei Lannister, who the fandom, a lot of people hate her because they think that she's a bitch, but I know better. She is a mother, and she's a very strong, ruthless mother, and she's gonna do whatever it takes to take care of her children. Does she do it nicely? No. Does she do it 100% the smartest way? No. But I think that her maternal instincts were very strong, and that's part of the reason why I picked her. I also really loved her in 300. I thought that look was really good for Demeter. Just like that long flowing brown hair and the fields, it just was a nice look. That coupled with the maternal instincts of Cersei. If I had to switch face claims, who would you pick for Demeter and why? I think that I would pick Thandie Newton, because I like her face. She looks like she could be maternal. And I would want her to be an older, I see a lot of role players using younger face claims, which is totally fine. But for the original 6 Olympians, I feel like older face claims, just feel right to me. I don't know if that makes much sense, if anybody can understand that, but older face claims are important to me, and Thandie Newton is in her late 40s. And I just think she's really beautiful, and I think that she can make, she would make a good one. Or Jada Pinkett Smith. But Thandie Newton first, and then Jada Pinkett Smith. I've thought about this a little bit. Let's see if there are any more Anons. One second. Yes, okay. So who are some of the muses that you've played on Tumblr, and why don't you play them anymore? Do you have an hour for me to remember them all? Some of my, I guess more recent ones that I can recall off the top of my head that have recently become more inactive, have been in the Les Mis and Marvel fandoms. From Marvel, I have, and Star Trek. I have 2 femme characters. I have a female Samira Wilson, and she's played by Samira Wiley, because I love her. And a femme Brie Banner, played by Rachel Weisz. So I once broke Harlem is Brie, and Cap's wingman is Sam. And Brie became inactive because of some personal issues with an RPer that I had in the past, and it became a whole big mess, and every time I logged onto her blog I was just reminded of that. So she's been inactive for about a month. And Sam is just a very happy and up character, even though that she has a lot of past stuff that's being dredged up. She's very up, and I wasn't feeling that for a while. So she's inactive. The Les Mis ones were Grantaire, Fuyi, Courfeyrac. I had originally Nani was Cosette, She's now Nani, and Nani is very active, so. I also had a Basuet. All my Les Mis blogs are inactive because of a recent, another personal issue I've had in the community. And I don't want to get into that now. I've also played Sherlock. I've played a William Shakespeare from like the Doctor Who verse. I've played an evil doctor. Who else? Anna from Frozen. Gabe Goodman from Next to Normal. Patrick from Perks of Being a Wallflower. Tons more. I don't even remember. A lot of them have just been deleted. A lot of them are archived or under different URLs now. Oh, Wash from Serenity, from Firefly and Serenity. He was a favorite who I still like. I can't bring myself to delete him or archive him. I haven't played him in a while though. And Star Trek. So I've played Sulu, and I had an OC whose name was Ben, and he was adorable, and I love him. Sulu will occasionally show back up, but not that much. Yeah, I miss my inactive blogs, but I mean, I'm having a really good time with Demeter and Nani, and I don't want to mess that up. So, just sticking to those two right now. Okay, so now some people ask off and on, so I'll get to those. Sweet Transvestite Frankie asked, what kicked off your interest in mythology, and why were you drawn to Demeter? Mythology just always interested me. Like, when I was younger, instead of having fairy tales, like, my grandmother would tell me, like, Bible stories. And so religion was really interesting to me, and I thought it was, like, a really cool, like, story, fairy tale thing. So when I was, like, in middle school, I started learning about, ancient Greek history. And a big part of the Greek history that was taught at my school was mythology. And, so that coupled with, like, religious background, it was just really cool to me. And Demeter, she was just always my favorite. Her and Athena. I thought Demeter was really cool because of her, of her passion for her daughter. I see a lot of my mother in Demeter. I see a lot of the mother I would want to be in her. Maybe not with, like, the freezing, but, and when I started role-playing, I was in this big group of people who were like, let's start a bunch of Greek mythology blogs together, and let's pick all our characters. So my friend had already picked Athena, and I was like, oh, okay, I'll pick Demeter. Like, she was my second choice of RP muse, but she ended up being, like, the best one I've ever had, so. Wine, Women, and Wit caps locked me twice and said, describe to us the Olympians using your own words. Bunch of assholes. Except for Hestia. Hestia's not an asshole. The original 6 Olympians are terrible people. They're all terrible people. Even Demeter. Except for Hestia, again, because Hestia doesn't do anything. She just sits by her fire and watches it. So that's the Olympians. Other than the original 6, again, all terrible people. They're awful, and they're horrible, and they're so flawed, and I love them. Master of Mirror, Wine, Women, and Wit also asked me to do an impression, but I'll save that for the last thing, because I don't want to do that. So, Master of Mirrors wrote, what plots are you dying to do with Demeter or with Nani? And for Demeter, I really want more plots within the verse where she's pretending to be immortal, or a verse where she's a reincarnation of Demeter in a mortal body. I think that's a really interesting dynamic. I like the pretending to be immortal one because there's a lot of potential for angst, and I feel like Demeter has a lot of, calmness on her vlog right now, even with the Demeter pregnancy, which I'm super excited about. Because even though that's angsty, it's not something she's really upset about, you know? So it's not really that angsty. With Nani, I can't think of any plots that I'm really dying to do with her. I'm really excited for her to, I'm really excited for her to start with the shows that she's doing, but I am dying for one thing. I would love for her to meet some more trans characters. I know there aren't many in the RP world. She has met Sophia Bursette from Orange is the New Black, that character, but I don't think either of them know that the other is trans. I just want her to have like a support network, because she's never had that in her life, and I think that would be really cool to play with. Do you prefer OC? This is also Messer Maris. They asked a few questions. Do you prefer OCs or canon characters, or something in between? This is something Wine Women and Wit and I have discussed at length, because every canon character is an OC. Somebody created them, they were an original character, and they just became a character in popular media that we roleplay. Within roleplay, though, even canon characters are interpreted certain ways, so, you know, you can never be 100% canon, because we're using them for stories, and I think that's really cool. I have played mostly canon characters, but I'm really liking the freedom that comes with an OC. I really like side characters. That's always been my interest. Canon side characters are really fun to play with because there's so little information about them already. You can interpret them and still be 100% right, even if it's not specifically stated in their canon. So something in between, something hybrid, I like those. Is there any particular music that inspires you? If so, what? Not really, actually. Music has never been... I mean, I like show tunes. Show tunes always get me in a good mood. But music has never been something that I've had a very emotional response to, and I know that sounds weird for somebody who really likes musicals, but I just... listening to music has never elicited chills or tears. You know, every so often there'll be a song that really strikes me, but it's usually within a broader context than just a song. Yeah, music doesn't really inspire me. It's more about the character itself, or the context where the song is. So it's about the story. Dear Loki, God of Mischief, thank you for congratulating me first. Why did you choose Demeter as muse? I answered that, I think, right? And what traits did you find in her that you tend to gravitate towards when you're creating a new muse? The thing about her being a side character, I know she's not like she's not really like a character, but she doesn't have a lot of mythology to her name. Like, she has the story of Persephone, she has the story of Zeus and Poseidon and all that stuff. But other than those stories, she doesn't really have as much. So that lack of information was interesting, and that kind of drew me to her. And if you could make and if you could make a new muse, who would it be? I've made so many new muses in the past couple of weeks that, I don't know. I tried to roleplay as Tina Belcher from Bob's Burgers. That didn't work, but it was fun, for while it lasted. I'd really like to try my hand at, like, a really well-known character at some point. Like a Tony Stark type deal where, like, there are tons of Tony Starks in the roleplay community, and, you know, like, someone really well-known. Or, like, Loki. I don't know if I would be any good at it, but it would be interesting to, like, be in that community and have to be, like, kind of make my characterization different and unique. and not feel like overwhelmed by how many Lokis there are. So I'm really like, you guys who play Loki are amazing. Like, I love you. Like, Talented Liar Loki is actually one of the first Lokis I ever followed, and they're still following me since I started this blog. So super talented Mun, super amazing Loki. Dear Loki God of Mischief, also super cool Loki. I'm really impressed by you guys. King of Mischief, also with X's in the title. Super cool people. I have a lot of respect for you guys for playing Loki. And alright, so this video is 28 minutes long. I think that's it. Although Wine, Women, and a Wit wanted me, the last thing I'm gonna do is do your best impression of your muse's mannerisms. And I've thought a lot about this, and like the only thing that I can think of that I can do is the Demeter look of disappointment. And it's just like, can you feel the maternal disappointment coming from me? Yeah, so something like that. Okay. So thank you again for following me. Thank you again for all your questions. You guys are incredible. I don't know what I would do without you. I have so much fun coming onto my blog now, and I have you guys to thank for it. Special shout out to Carol Davner's, Wine, Women, and Wit, Master Mary's, all the people who have been following me for so long, everyone who was on my Follow Forever list, Billy, I mentioned you like 3 times already, but again, you know, without you, none of this would have happened. So Carol Davner's, Billy, Kirsten, good luck with your everything, and break a leg in your show, and I wish I could be there. So that's it. 900 followers later, and here we are. Thank you guys so much. I love you. Bye.